I am never quite sure whether I am done making a Toys R Us video, but, well, look on the bright side. Every time I make one, they motivate me to create another World of Warcraft video because I know the people who have subscribed to this channel did so because they wanted to see those kinds of videos, and I figure they'll forgive me for the odd side project if they keep seeing content that they like coming out. This one is for a building that, even by the standards that I'm going by, is too big for Toys R Us to fill completely. So I'm not even going to suggest that. Instead, I'm suggesting they consider buying, renting, or leasing a part of this building rather than the whole thing. I mean, let's compare it to the scale here. It's about 225 to 250 feet on a side, and that's already over the square footage of an old school Toys R Us on one floor alone. This building is actually 3 stories tall, and an article that I found online said that it was actually 15,000 square feet. Considering that Toys R Us planners would like to go from 40,000 to 10,000 square feet, there's no way they would even consider trying to fill a whole building that is 15 times their intended size. As much as I disagree with their strategy and think they should go bigger, I don't mean that much bigger. That being said, this was the location of Rogers Department Store for about 15 years. Sorry, 50 years, from 1955 to 2005, and it holds a special place in the hearts of Grand Rapidians who are old enough to remember it. Heck, even though I rarely went there as a kid, I always saw that it was sponsoring Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on my local PBS station, and I loved Mr. Rogers when I was really little. And I could tell it was an important business in our area. Real pillar of the community. It made me sad when it did go out of business, and while a Klingman's opened up and closed there in the intervening years, the building looks pretty much vacant at the moment. Some of the things that this location has going for it are the fact that, like the Rivertown and Alpine locations, it is very close to a freeway exit. So, again, people can come from further and wider away in order to visit this location. That was a benefit that Rogers Department Store benefited from a lot while it was open. It's also, again, on 28th Street, which is one of the biggest east-west arteries in the greater Grand Rapids area. It'll be on the way to or from work for a lot of people. Plus, it's pretty centrally located. It's pretty near the midway point between the Toys R Us location on 28th Street in the East Beltline that I showed in my first video and the Rivertown Crossings location that I had in my second video. Another thing that I expect will be very handy for a Toys R Us is that there is a park space literally right across the parking lot from this building. I kid you not. You can get pretty creative with an outdoor space like that, and if you're aiming for an experience-based model, there's a lot of possibilities with that park. Another plus is it's by some locations where families will be shopping anyway. I mean, it's not as up and coming as any of the other locations I've shown so far. There's no Olive Garden or Best Buy. Definitely no Chuck E. Cheese. There is an Office Max. There's a Family Fare grocery store right here. There's a few other businesses. There are a variety of fast food joints in the location. Let's see, I believe that's an Applebee's there. No, that's not Applebee's. That's Applebee's. Also, right across the street in Rogers Plaza. Yeah, they still call this Rogers Plaza, even though Rogers Department Store closed a long time ago. That'll give you an idea how big Rogers Department Store was in its day. There is, I believe, a Panda Buffet. Come on, where's that Panda Buffet? There she blows. Let's see. There are a few other pizza joints in the area. There's a Goodwill store. There's an Aldi and a Family Dollar. You can tell this isn't all that affluent an area, so rent might be a little on the inexpensive side, which is another plus. And it's even closer to residential areas than the other 3 locations that I've vouched for. All of this grayish green fuzz is streets with houses on them. And all of them would be shopping at a conveniently located Toys R Us if you opened one up here. As for the brick and mortar competition, let's see, the nearest Walmart is about 3 miles away. Let me just get the scale to the point where it shows miles. Now let me get it to the point where you can even see right there, that little dot. That is the location I'm talking about. Let's see if I can get Walmart on this map. Yeah, the nearest Walmart locations are about 3 miles away. The nearest Target locations, let's see, about the same distance, maybe 2.5 miles away. The nearest Meijer locations, again, about 2.5 miles away. So you'd be pretty far from the competition, much like you would be at the old 28th Street and East Beltline location. One more thing the Rogers location has going for it is something that you can't really tell from the satellite view that we have here. I can try zooming in as close as it'll go, but okay, actually you can just barely see it. And if the search this area button wasn't there, you'd be able to see it even better. The front side of this store, the side that is facing 28th Street, has all windows here, from the roof all the way down to the pavement. It would allow for some impressive displays to the public if you could make use of it. Considering there wouldn't be much competition, the demand would be there considering how many families live in this area. This would actually be a great spot for a Kids R Us, a Babies R Us, or both. Again, when Toys R Us went under, Grand Rapids lost 3 Toys R Us locations, a Babies R Us location at the East Beltline 28th Street store, and a Kids R Us at the Alpine store. This building is more than large enough to bring all 3 of those TRU Kids brands back. At 3 floors and 150,000 square feet total, I am not asking True Kids to try to fill this whole building. But if you can get a part of it, this would be a solid pick for reviving your presence in the Grand Rapids area.